I remember my mom literally holding my hand, taking me to that school, and I said no, I don't want. I was throwing tantrums on our way there. It sort of breaks my heart. I cry, and I just remember the fact, oh, my parents are getting older.
Thinking of them growing up is just so heartbreaking.
Hi everyone, Tochi here once again.
7.
Right, and as usual, this is I think our third video now or second video, whatever. This is the 28th of May, and it's the day after Children's Day, and we want to do this song that we think is an ode to childhood as well, to children, in commemoration of Children's Day. This is Never Grow Up by Taylor Swift. As you might know, the essence for this channel is basically Alex and I, exploring elements of our personalities through, our music choices and other things. And this is my own pick. Once again, this is Never Grow Up by Taylor Swift from the album Speak Now. Hands down one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, and it just felt so perfect to do this as it's Children's Day season. So yeah, any thoughts, or you're just excited and looking forward
for this one?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it. The first verse, it says, "Your little hands wrapped around my finger, and it's so quiet in the world tonight. Your little eyelids flutter cause you're dreaming, so I tuck you in, turn on your favorite night light." The imagery, again, it's always about the imagery for me, right? Your little hand wrapped around my finger. You know when kids hold your hand like this and they hold it so fucking tight, like the tightest. I think it's like the tightest anyone can hold your hand, but you can't put it out. So I love that she had to like bring this universal experience we have of kids when they hold your hand so tight like this, and it's so quiet in the world tonight. Because at that point, everything feels so perfect and solemn, and it's just going so nicely. Your little eyelids flutter because you're dreaming, so I tuck you in and turn on your favorite night lights. Still that, sort of setting the tune. And that's the thing about Taylor Swift. I think, she opens the music, always opened a lot of songs with just creating the setting and setting the tone for, how the song progresses. So she's just sort of setting the mood here. Typical, when the kid is sleeping, maybe they're dreaming, they always like do this thing. Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen a baby in a long time, but I think I still have that memory of that. So I sort of love that tiny detail she's trying to, just sprinkle about kids and babies, right? So let's now go into the pre-chorus. To you, everything is funny. You got nothing to regret. I'll give you all I have, honey, if you could stay like that. I mean, it makes sense. Children, they laugh at the tiniest thing. They are laughing with you as well. Everything, they giggle at the tiniest whatever. Obviously, what is there to regret? They are babies. You're clean slate, tabula rasa. You've not experienced anything. You get what I mean? So, and then there's that thing of, and in this case, with the backstory, she said the song is dedicated to the baby of her friend who gave birth to a child, and then she's the godmother to the child, right? So I imagine when you have such connection to a child, you look at them with so much love, like, I will give you everything, I love you so much. Like, and to your nephew, for instance, your niece, when they're like newly born, you feel like, oh my god, I love you so much, I would give you anything. You get what I mean? So
so I have I'm just reminded of a time when I visited my sister and then saw my nephews for the first time in such a long time, and then that moment kind of like transported me to, I started remembering when they were kids. It was such a precious moment for me, because I started thinking how fast they grew, and like from in that moment I was thinking, because they were entering their teenage age at that point, and I'm like, oh my god, Oh my god. Like,
Why did you grow up? Who gave you the permission to grow up?
yeah. So this is precious.
Yeah, it's precious. So
I can just imagine her holding that baby
yeah,
and
and
just
because you know
thinking,
when you hold a baby, a lot of thought, a baby like that with that
Yeah.
sort of connection, a lot of thought is going through your head. Like, oh, don't grow up. So it's like saying, "I'll give you all I have, honey, if you could stay like that."
Yes.
Like, please don't grow up. I think this also sort of reminds me of I can't remember who the celebrity is, but I think the celebrity was sort of give birth, and of course I think the child was maybe 1 or 2. I can't remember the age of the child, but the celebrity was like she came on like online and she was sort of having like a moment like my child is growing up so fast and I don't like it. You know, that kind of I don't want him to grow up like you like that kind of shows like you grow up now and start having friends and start having opinions and start like I don't want him to. So there's that kind of you
Yeah.
wanting that child to just stay
Yeah.
the same. You feel because you feel like that is the most time you can be able to protect them.
yeah.
You know.
Innocence and all, because growing up kind of like strips away all of that innocence. Yeah. And
Yeah, so I get that. So Taylor is just like I said, she's just a fantastic storyteller because I mean you don't need to have a child to be able to feel this and be
Yeah.
able to explain it if you've been with kids long enough. So and then which now takes us to the chorus. Oh darling, don't you ever grow up? Don't you ever grow up? Just stay this little. Just piggybacking off of what I said about the celebrity. She was pretty much having a breakdown in court online. Like my child is growing up too fast. I don't want it to grow up so fast. I don't want it to grow up, that kind of stuff. Because it's like I said, table like I said, blank slate. As they grow up, that slate is being
Yeah.
occupied. It's being filled by different things that eventually forms them, and it's so scary that sometimes that slate is not often filled by just the things that you're teaching them. It's often also things that they get to pick in school.
Yeah.
On the internet, there are things that you're browsing when you're not there. So it's scary to think
Yeah.
about them growing up.
Yeah, especially when you realize the fact that a lot of these things you will not be able to control it.
Control it.
Yeah.
It's so. Oh darling, don't you ever grow up? Don't you ever grow up? Just stay this little. Oh darling, don't you ever grow up? Don't you ever grow up? It could stay this simple, for real. Because when you're that age, everything's all simple, for both for the child and for you, the parents as well.
Yeah.
A lot of things you can control. When you start growing up, a lot of things get out of your control. A lot of things get complex. They start having opinions. They start having a mind of their own. Then even if you also feel like, oh, sometimes if they feel like, I mean, mom, I'm an adult, I'm grown, like that kind of, and it's so fucking
Yeah.
complex. It's so hard at that point. So, and then you say, and then it goes, I won't let nobody hurt you, won't let no one break your heart, and no one will desert you. Just try to never grow up. Because I mean, at that point, really, like we've said, at that point when they're kids, you can protect them from anything. You can protect them from anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the minute they start growing up, you can't protect them from the people that will hurt them. You can't protect them from the people that's going to break their hearts. Like I remember when I had my first heartbreak and I was really down and like really going through it. I remember my mom didn't know what was wrong with me and she felt so bad that like she couldn't help me. Yeah, she felt so bad. Like she really wanted to know what was wrong with me. And I could see her feeling bad that she couldn't help me.
Oh.
Yeah, so and she couldn't help me. I couldn't also like talk about what it was. It's like a child grows up to the point you can't even protect them from who breaks their heart. Like she was literally, it's like your parents watching you suffer, but they can't help you. They couldn't protect you from that, hurt or that person who did that to you.
Yeah.
So when I see babies, even like when I see like a lot of my little cousins, I'm like, I hope nobody's hurting you in your own personal life. Like in my mind, I don't tell them this, but in my mind, I just like, I hope nobody's hurting you and I hope nobody's treating you badly because I can't help to watch that happen.
Oh.
If you get what I mean. So that's why that line sort of strikes me.
Yeah,
I won't let nobody
because-
hurt you. I won't let no one break your heart.
It feels personal too because I have a niece and I think about her constantly, and I think about all the ways I want to protect her, and it's also realizing that sometimes even if you have the power to protect them, which that kind of protection would mean shielding them from the world, but that's going to be damaging also because they need to be in the world to kind of like experience the world. So it's like it puts you in a place where you're like, you want to protect someone, but then you have to
you can't even protect them regardless, no matter how hard you try. It gets to a certain point in their lives that you cannot protect them, and at some point, they will have people hurt them, they will have people break their hearts, and you can't control that, and that's a very sad thing.
It's so sad.
It's so sad because no parents want to see their kids suffer.
Yeah, it's a tough place.
It's a tough place to be. So so that's what that line really, really hurt me. And no one will desert you. Just try to never grow up, because really, if you don't grow up, you won't experience all those things. You won't have someone ghost you, deserting you or whatever. You someone break your heart on forever, and all of that horrible things won't happen to you. So this song really makes me, while it makes me think of children, it also makes me mourn my own childhood. Like, it makes me loathe adulting. Like, I just want to be a child forever in my mom's arms, where she's able to protect me from everything.
Yeah.
Or my sister's arm. I remember there was one day, it wasn't what happened, and my sister was like, I don't like, you know how I feel about you, where I can't risk anything hurting you, And in my mind, I'm like, if only I've been dealt a great deal by people in the world.
Oh my God! That's, so heartbreaking.
Exactly. So,
oh my God.
So just try to never grow up, and then we'll move on to the verse 2. I think there's a part where the child starts to grow up now. So that's the thing about Taylor. Like, it just takes you. You see, from here, you're a baby. From the verse 1, you're a baby, this, and then from the verse 2, she's giving you all these promises, and then from verse 2, the child starts to grow up.
Yeah.
You're in the car on the way to the movies. You're mortified your mom's dropping you off. That line, because you like we said, the child starts growing up. They start becoming. You get to puberty stage.
Yeah.
They start at some point. They start feeling like, Mom, don't get involved in my business. I'm a grown up. Even maybe at 12, at 11. They start having very strong opinions.
Yeah.
I remember, for instance, at 9, 10, when I was going into high school, I gave my mom a tough time based on like what I wanted and certain things. Like I saw like the school I wanted her to put me in was so expensive. She didn't have the money, and she was trying to explain to me. I didn't give two fucks about that. I wanted what I want. I was throwing tantrums. It was crazy. My mom always talk about that till tomorrow. I was throwing crazy tantrums. But maybe the primary school, but the primary school I was graduating from at the time, I didn't have any say about that, because at the time I was getting into that, I was still very young and small, so she could control that.
Yeah.
But now it was time to graduate to high school, and she couldn't control that, because I was throwing tantrums. She tried to enroll me in one other school she had paid. I refused to go. Like, I was throwing crazy tantrums. So it gets to that age, as a teenager or whatever, where your parents cannot control that whatever, and just going from where we're coming from, it's like, wow, you can't control. You're grown now. You can't control these things.
That's heartbreaking.
That's heartbreaking.
So this pre-chorus to you, I just want to say, I want to relate something to what you just said. To you, everything is funny. You got nothing to regret. So I remember when I was first enrolled in nursery school, I still have it's a very vivid memory for me. I was so excited. I just wanted to go to school. Even though I didn't know what school was. I loved seeing kids in uniforms and just with their backpacks and lunch boxes and going to school, and I wanted to be part of them so badly. And then I remember hating school so much when I was a teenager. Because the memory is so vivid. Like I can remember it as though it just happened yesterday. They brought my uniform home, and I couldn't wait to try it on. And like for nursery school, I couldn't wait to try it on. And even I don't annoyed my mom because I just could like, can I just please try my uniform? Because I was looking forward to it. And then there's this specific, this I remember one day in secondary school. I think that was my first day. No, it wasn't my first day. It was some days after I had just started JSS1, and I already hated going to school because I was the smallest kid in class. I was also like the youngest and everything. Everybody was. I just did not like the environment and everything. So it was such. Oh my god.
That just makes a lot of sense. But in this case, Taylor said on the way to the movies, but it might not. In our case, it's not exactly movies.
Yeah.
But like it was that because I remember my mom literally holding my hand, taking me to that school. And I said, no, I don't want. I was throwing tantrums on our way there. So it might not be, we didn't drive, we didn't have a car. But that's like, the point. Like, your mom holding, there's like something about your mom taking you somewhere. Because obviously, for them in the US, as she's describing it, of course, your mom will drive you to somewhere and drop you off. Like, and tell you, be a good kid, blah, 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 But in our case, it's more like your mom holding you to this place and then you're throwing tantrums on the way there. So I love that line so much. You're modified, your mom is dropping you off. At 14, there's just so much. And then I love how she's specific about the age. Like was rightly said, puberty period, teenage period, around that time that all this strong opinions starts to form and all that.
Even your body starts to change.
And then, it's as your body is changing, your opinions and everything is also changing and getting firmer. Right.
True.
So at 14, there's just so much you can't do. That's sarcastic. That's sarcastic. But like, because at that age, to you, what the fuck? I'm 14 years old. There's just so much I can do. But it's more like, really, there's just so much you can't do at 14, of course. Of course. Yeah. At 14, there's just so much you can do. And you can't wait to move out someday and call your own shots.
Oh my God.
That is so real. That is so real. At that age, you can't wait to be an adult to move out and start being your own boss because you feel like this house is too restrictive.
Yeah.
My parents are too this, my parents are too that, my elder siblings are too this. I can't wait to move out of this house. At that age, I want, what the fuck? I want to be out so badly.
It hits too close.
That is so. Taylor, when I say she's one of those artists that write about universal human experiences, because that is so real. At that age, I remember at that age, both for myself, my brother, my cousins in our different lives, we would many times I can't wait to leave this house. I can't wait to go to university and be independent and be free. I can't wait to leave this house. We always say that. But now that house is always what we want to run back to.
Yeah.
But at 14, nobody can tell you nothing.
True. Now that place is where we want to run back to. But now,
at 14, you want to move out so bad. And then another pre-chorus, but don't make her drop you off around the block. Remember, she's getting older too. This part kills me, and I'll tell you why I say it, because I think it's part of what we're talking about yesterday. As she was getting older, now she started the song as the imagery of a baby, but now the child is 14 years old. But don't forget that as the child is 14 years old, the parents is also now older. That whenever I sing this song and I get to this line, it sort of breaks my heart. I cry and I just remember the fact, my parents are getting older, and that I just wish they can be young forever as well. Anytime you see them or you hear from them, and you see that you can just see the age telling. It breaks my heart, honestly. So saying don't make her drop you off the block. Remember, she's getting older too. She's more like saying that don't make things harder for her. Don't make things hard for her. She's also getting older as well, as the way you are getting older. So be sensitive to whatever it is you are doing or whatever, because she's also not the young person that she used to be.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That part breaks my heart so much. Nothing breaks my heart more than remembering the fact that my parents are getting older.
Yeah, we were
talking about it yesterday. Randomly.
Oh my God.
And don't lose the way that you dance around in your PJs getting ready for school. Like, don't lose those small things. Like, at that age, when you're young, just like what you said about at that, before nursery school, you're so excited about going to school and everything. That's like you want to try your uniform so bad. So dancing around your whatever you were wearing that period. Like I want to try my uniform. I want to wear my uniform.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what she say. Don't lose the way you dance around in your PJs, getting ready for school. Because she's more like sort of drawing the 14-year-old back to that. Don't lose those small things. Like now you're in high school. You were once this around your nursery period where you're so excited for school and everything. Don't lose that. You know.
Yeah.
And there's that specificity of dancing around your PJs, getting ready for school. Because that period when you're getting ready for school, you're so excited.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to wear my uniform. I'm going to go to school and everything. My mom would always tell me that how I started school was when she would go drop my elder brother off at school. Of course, during assembly period, I would always crawl to the drum side and be playing with the drums, and I would not want to leave that school premises. And I did it so badly that the headmistress was like, "Jay, won't you just enroll this boy in school like that?" That's how I started school almost prematurely. Back to this music thing. I would always go to the drums and be harassing the drums and all that stuff. So that sort of excitement. And at that point, I didn't care what school it was. I just was just happy.
Yeah.
But when it was time for high school, I was something else, throwing tantrums of, I don't want this school, I don't want that school, I want this, I want that. So that imagery of really being excited and dancing around your PJs, getting ready for school or being excited about school is so real.
I saw this TikTok. Is it thread? How do they call it on TikTok? I don't know if it's thread, but like videos of moms looking at their kids over. So they made the kids record themselves on their birthdays, as they grow. So these videos where you look at the child, the videos were just showing how it wasn't meant to show that anyway. It was just, but one thing you notice in the videos is how, like, as kids they were bubbly, lively, everything. Even their voices was so sharpy and like light and like joyous and everything. But then as they grow, the voice changes, they become quieter. They as kids, they used to run around a lot. Like, it was hard to get them to sit still. But as they grow older, 12, 13, they're now sitting still on their phone. Like, and the mom all through the video is like, just like, also, this is your first birthday. Oh, this is your third birthday. You're turning 3. What do you have to say? Like, all through the videos, this is the mom. So, and then in the comments, you see moms like giving their own experiences, like how they're looking at their kids right now and they're like thinking of them growing up is just so heartbreaking. And they're just qualities of they love about their kids, how like the things they say, how they love some certain kinds of food, and they don't want the kids to lose all of that. And like thinking about them growing up from watching videos like that, it's just so heartbreaking, something they're not ready for. And it's
so sad.
Whenever I go on TikTok and I see videos like that, it's like I stay a little longer and like just stay with these moms, just expressing that fear. And it's so,
man, like, I mean, this is so really that line, don't lose the way that you dance around your PJs getting ready for school, is really a metaphor for more like, still don't lose that childhood charm and enthusiasm and all that stuff that you would have as a child. Try to not lose that. Then the chorus, back to, oh darling, don't you ever grow up, don't you ever grow up, just stay this little. Oh darling, don't you ever grow up, don't you ever grow up, you could stay this simple. Won't let no one's ever burned you. No. So that's that. I've told you about Taylor Swift that a common pattern in her songs is, in a lot of songs, the choruses are usually the same. But in Taylor's songs, the choruses would always evolve with the story, whereby it's the same melody, but there'll be key lyrics changes that just still tell. So that's sort of when I realized that Taylor Swift is not just a songwriter, she's a writer and a poet that, like, she just moves with the story along as the story develops, chorus on chorus. So there's a lyric change here. Don't forget, initially it was, I won't let nobody hurt you, won't let no one break your heart, and the likes. So here she is saying, No one's ever burned you. Nothing's ever left you scarred. And even though you want to, just try to never grow up. So you can see here, she's saying no one's ever burned you, nothing's ever let you scarred. I think she's still sort of in this point, still saying, I think she's sort of maybe still manifesting, like if I could, I would still keep you, in my arms, and no one's ever burned you, and nothing would ever maybe like leave you scarred or so. And even though you want to, like, still back to what I know you want to grow up so bad. I know you want to be your own person so bad, but just try to never grow up. Just try to never grow up. So no one's so that nobody's gonna burn you, and so that nothing will ever leave you scarred. Because when you start growing up like that, like I said, stable lifestyle, you start taking all of those whatever. You start getting burnt by people. You start getting scarred by experiences and all that stuff. But even if you want to grow up so bad, please try to not. Just never grow up. And then the bridge where she says, take pictures in your mind of your childhood room and memorize what it sounded like when your dad gets home. That is so real. Because for me, I still have pictures of my childhood room, and just images of, like, say, when your dad returns or mom returns, like just key events that as a child, that you just, all of those things, they grow with you, they stay with you, and you just, especially if you have a huge family culture, or if you guys had a family culture in the house, or maybe like on a Sunday where everybody maybe sits down together to eat. Like, so I feel like that sounded like when your dad gets home is like a metaphor for like some familiar family culture you guys must have had.
Yeah, because dad's coming home is so specific. Like in a traditional home, for example, the mom is home with the kids, and then
the dad leaves for work, and then
comes back. So
daddy oyoyo.
You get it's such a
so specific. Yeah, that's so fucking specific. But also that's true. I remember, like, while growing up, when we were kids, my dad was based in Ghana. Yeah. And then he was mostly away, and then when he's coming back, there's always this, it's a different air. Yeah. Also, my cousins as well, they can relate as well, because their dad was also based in Ghana. Yeah. So for the most part, it was hardly around. I think it's like in Ghana 3 months, and then you come back to Nigeria and stay like 2-3 weeks. So when he's coming back, it's like Christmas Day, so that all that childhood wonder. So it's like, she's like saying, take pictures of that, memorize all that stuff.
True.
It's don't forget it. Because but those memories is like what makes you.
I remember too, my home used to be like that when my dad would return. Because my dad used to be someone, he loved family, and that's why he had like so many kids. He loved family and all of that. So whenever he came home from work, he would always bring gifts. You'd never know what to expect each day. And this is like every day. So it was always something when we would return from school, something we did subconsciously is checking the time.
Wow.
So we always knew that around what time my dad would be home. So like we were always looking, especially for us like kids that in the home then. So we're always looking forward to and then whenever when he would return, we just took the bags from him. Like, okay, Dad, what did you bring? Like, it was such a cute. Even if what we were looking forward to, what we're looking forward to was the gifts and all, but that's
the air
of that coming home. That was
it's just different. Yeah, at least for that few moment, it's just different. So that's so specific. Like, now Taylor is a genius writer. I would say that. And a storyteller. Remember the footsteps, remember the words said, and all your little brother's favorite songs. I just realized everything I have is someday gonna be gone.
Oh my God.
Like, this is so gut-wrenching, because it's so true. Because where are they now? So it's like, this is like sort of why I really want us to do this song, just in case any children or kids ever listen to this song or watch this video, it makes you, because this is a song that I wish I maybe listened when I was a child. Maybe I would have held on to those memories much, in a more endearing way, knowing fully well that someday it's all going to be gone. Because my dad is no longer here today. We no longer have all that family setting anymore, and just all that stuff is just no longer here, And then this saying of, remember the footsteps, remember the words said, and all your little brother's favorite songs. those are very specific
Yeah, very,
details.
very, very, very specific. Because the my music taste today is shaped by the kind of songs I grew up listening to my brothers listen to. So my brothers loved a lot of rock and roll, and I'm given the generation gap and everything. I always looked for, I looked up to them. I looked up to the things they liked. So whatever they liked, that was what I liked also. So my brothers listened to a lot of rock and roll, rock. So it kind of like shaped my
Your
music taste today. And even though my taste now is now like, I listen to anything really, just as long as it sounds good. I listen to pop, R&B, and all of that. But the core for me is like rock, metal music. So
I think I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that because also, my brother inspired my music taste to an extent. That was when my brother was a huge fan of Tiwa Savage, and he would play "Without My Heart" by Tiwa and Don Jazzy, and he would play it over and over and over and over because I mean he's my older brother, so he would assert this thing over the disc player or whatever
Yeah.
it is. So he would play it over and over. I didn't have control over that. And like the video over and over. And I kept watching and I just got drawn to Tiwa Savage from there. So all that childhood wonder. And then my dad, my dad would play a lot of Njideka Okeke and all of these guys. So in that family setting, that period, you're soaking in a lot of stuff. In this
yeah.
case, she said little brother, but it could be your older brother. It could be because I think she's sort of related to hers because in her case she's the elder sister and she has a younger brother.
Yeah.
But like in making it like more of our story, it could be your older brother's, music taste and the song that they play constantly. It could be your father's,
Yeah.
or your parents. But the point is basically there's this,
Yeah.
in the around that family setting that time, there are ways that the songs that they play or the films that you watch or whatever inspires who you are as a child then. So just remembering all that stuff. So like whenever I see Without My Heart's music video, I always remember my brother and the house we lived in then,
Yeah.
and the entire setting then. And that's basically what she's trying to say, because
True.
now all of those stuff are no longer here. We now live in a much different, setting.
Yeah.
My brother is not here anymore, and it's just, all that setting is just different. So soaking in all of that memory is just so different. It's just so different. So I really love the imagery here and saying I just realized that everything I have is someday gonna be gone. Because when you're in that period, you don't think that there will be an ending
Yeah.
to this phase of life. You don't even think about it at that point. You're just existing there without any this thing. But it's now like as we're adults, I think about it, I'm like, wow, all of that phase
Yeah.
gone, and we're now all adults living in different worlds and existing differently
Oh
now.
my God. Let me say something about that. Because this is working too much. So I draw, yeah. And the only other person in my family who can draw is my eldest brother. So we used to draw when he lived with us in the house. I used to draw a lot because he would make some drawings for me, and I too would make some drawings for him. I'll draw some things for him. So when he was leaving the house, when he had to go live with my uncle, it was, for me as a child, it was such a troubling time for me, and because I felt like I had this very close. I feel like I had a closer bond with him than with the rest of because we were the only persons who drew in my house. So when he was leaving, he drew me something, and then we loved playing this Mortal Kombat to like it's a video game. So we loved playing it. So he wrote moves of some characters, my favorite characters. He wrote them on paper and gave it to me, and along with the drawing. So those pieces of paper became so precious to me. They were worth like more than anything. You could pay me. You could give me a pot of gold and I would never let those pieces of paper go.
No.
When I lost them, I don't know, I don't have the word to describe what happened.
How did you lose them?
I don't even know. I don't remember now how I lost them, but I remember turning the whole room down looking for those pieces of paper because they were the only thing I had from my brother, and I cried, and I just cried. I
Oh.
was so sad.
Wow. Wow. So sweet. But yeah, that's exactly what she's trying to say here.
Yeah, because I never imagined that there was a time that my
all of
brother
that
would leave
stuff.
home,
Exactly.
leave home and then would stop playing. And one way that affected me actually was I stopped drawing. I didn't draw for, I think I started drawing again just last year.
Wow.
But for, I think he left home when I was 6 or 7.
Wow, that's so young.
Yeah, I stopped drawing from then till
Last year. That's
yeah,
crazy.
except for biology class when you usually draw, make some yeah. Of course, I drew in biology class, but like sitting down to make, I used to draw to the point where my mom would beat me to leave my drawing books. I was so engrossed in my drawing because that was another world I used to escape to when I was little. Yeah, so having my brother share that with me was
and that period where he's sharing all of that stuff with you, like I said, is so perfect. You don't think there'll ever be an ending to this
Ending,
where
yeah.
someday all of that is going to be gone.
that was
Accelerate.
devastating when he left.
So if you're a child right now, please, whatever whatever memory or whatever experience you're having right now in your family home, I know it can be very hard sometimes, but please revel in that, savour all of that, because really, as Stilo said and as we have explained, someday all of that is going to be gone and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. So then moving on to the last verse of the song, I think she now brings it back to herself and now says, so here I am in my new apartment in a big city. They just dropped me off. It's so much colder than I thought it would be, so I tucked myself in and turned my night lights on. This part makes me cry because it reminds me so much of when I got my first apartment. And I was living with my sister at the time, and I was living with my sister before, and everything seemed great. And like I said, when you have all that family stuff, and then before you know it, you're these adults that have to now go be your own person. And I got my first apartment, and like she said, yeah, I am in my new apartment in a big city. It was lucky, and they just dropped me off. It's so much colder than I thought it would be. So I told my so for me, it was like I got my first apartment. There was no bed or anything. I laid on the floor. It was very cold, but it was just kind of symbolic, like it was like, wow, this is a new life, and like what is life like? What am I doing? I'm just a baby,
Okay.
I was living with my family, and then here I am, So it's like, where is all of that? So you can see how the story progressed from all of that stuff to now being this adult. Now, yeah, I am in my new apartment in a big city. They just dropped me off. It's so much colder than I thought it would be. So I tucked myself in and turned my nightlight on. I also remember that time having these very dim lights. Like when I listened to this song, I felt like, oh my god, how did this song come out years before? But that was in 2020 when I got my first apartment, but it felt so vivid. Everything felt so vivid, like so much like I'm living in a simulation of, whatever. So that particular imagery of being your own person, because I remember going to my sister's place to pack all my things, and then she seeing me off, and it just felt so personal. Yeah, that part really breaks my heart so much, because it will always get to that point where you have to leave home and go be your own person, either in a new city, in a new town. In our case, we grew up in Ijesha and Ikotun and then Egbeda. Then so leaving all that world and moving to Lekki, which is like a big city or a big part of whatever. Then laying on the floor. So that, like I said, it just felt so personal to me. That this entire verse just feels so personal to me. Crazy.
Something that I also like about the storytelling, I just realized that she's also speaking to her inner child.
Yes.
Because this last verse is what told me that, because here where she's like looking at the baby and like tucking the child in, and here she's, as the song closes, she's tucking herself in. So I think she's all of this too is like
tell us something like it's like a movie setting.
Yeah.
She's giving different perspective.
Yeah,
she's
because-
moving the scenes around.
Oh my god. Because the inner child. It's also now it takes me back to the song we did, the first song we did.
Seven.
Yeah. Where she said, before I learned civility, I used to
Scream ferociously anytime I wanted.
Yeah, that's literally being a child.
Mm-hmm.
And then you grow up and then you become this person who like
Yeah, you just become this adult and has to like take charge of yourself.
Yeah.
And part of that is at some point, because what I think the imagery here for me is she having to leave. But I know at some point she had to leave Nashville to New York. So I guess it's maybe her own way, or maybe leaving her parents' home to her own apartment. Because you maybe thinking of her as a teenage pop star at the time, even if she was 16, I imagine at some point, maybe at 20, you want to move on to your own space, that kind of stuff. So that's sort of how I would see her, interpreted. But like I said, I always like to interpret Taylor's song in a way that's sort of personal to me as well. And that's sort of how I also interpreted it in my own way, moving to my new apartments in this new place, and then talking. But I remember that day. Like I said, it was on the floor. I slept. There was no bed or anything, and it was just before COVID. And I remember just talking myself in with the clothes and the wrappers that I have, and with my dim lights, and everything felt so perfect then, though. But a part of me was like, "Wow, what am I doing? What is life?" And then moving on to the final chorus. You can see the chorus change here from "Oh darling, don't you ever grow up," and then she's now moving to "Wish I'd never." Now she has turned the story to herself. So you can see the song started from talking to this child and all that stuff, and then then telling the child, "Oh, don't you ever grow up? Don't you ever grow up?" And then now she has turned it to herself, "Wish I'd never grown up." It's only a storyteller that would know how to set scenes like that from the start of a song to finish, where everything is just connecting. Like I said, it's different chorus in a song, but it's not like repeating chorus like every other song. Each chorus is evolving with the song, with the storyline of the song, and that's sort of she teaches you so much about songwriting and storytelling. That's sort of why, in the entire thing, she's like my idol, because you don't write like this if you don't know what you're doing. So wish I'd never grown up. Wish I'd never grown up. Oh, I don't want to grow up. Wish I'd never grown up. I could stay. Before it could stay this little, or just stay this little. Now I could still be this little. Oh, I don't want to grow up. Wish I'd never grow up. It could be this simple. Oh, darling, don't you ever grow up. So it's like she's moving between talking to herself, her inner child, talking to the baby as well. Oh, that, like, it's just so, won't let nobody hurt you, won't let no one break your heart. And even though you want to, please try to never grow up. Oh, I don't want to like, it's so, that's how the song ended basically so yeah, that's the song. And I hope you found it very, interesting.
I think I'll go back to listen to this song after.
Yeah, it just brings this childhood yearning or longing for whatever it is. Whenever I hear the song, it makes me want to call my mom.
Oh yeah.
It makes me want to call my mom, call family also. So it's a lot of, so that's really, I just think it was very important for us to do this song, in commemoration of Children's Day. Is a song I've always, whenever I think about Children's Day, I always think, like, from the minute I heard the song, some 5 years ago, whenever I think about Children's Day, I always think about the song every time. And I really imagine a time when I'm able to sing the song to children.
Oh, this is
kids.
It's perfect. It's a perfect song for kids.
Yeah, because
into the message.
Yeah, because I imagine a lot of kids are not always prepared for what comes at some points in their lives. Like, a lot of kids are not prepared for adulting. A lot of times people don't tell you what to expect as an adult. You just stumble upon it. So I feel like this is a song that sort of puts a lot of things into perspective for children, like just letting you know that you're just the same way. Yeah, you tell kids about the Bible and religion and whatever, right? I feel like a lot of kids are not prepared for, like, maybe what becomes when you're 14, when you're 16. These are certain, because I feel like as we adults and everything, if we are honest, whilst we have different life, there are certain patterns that comes with adulting
Yeah.
that I feel like a lot of kids are not prepared for. Yeah, they're prepared for career, or no, or maybe university, or maybe be a doctor, or whatever. But there are a lot of patterns about adulting that you're not prepared for. Things like I said, things like your parents will start getting old before you won't realize that. I really wish it was something I knew earlier. I would have maybe savored,
Yeah.
a lot of, and enjoyed a lot of things, better than I did when I was a child. So yeah. So thank you so much. Do you have anything else to say in this regard?
No, I just want to listen to this
I
song.
know, right? Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in for this. This was an extremely personal one I've been dying to do, and I'm so excited we've gotten to do it. And also, like it coinciding with Children's Day holiday. You do please check out previous videos. I'm gonna link that somewhere around. And looking forward to the next one. And voila, see you later.
See you later, guys.